If you really want to dominate and you really want to win and you really want to be better than everybody else, this is so important to understand. If you don't know me, I'm Logan Lesser, a national motocross racer, having won over 15 state championships and an amateur national championship. I'm an extreme sports athlete and ran a marketing agency for over 4 years, growing it to $30,000 a month. And while doing so, was able to travel the world living in Cape Town, South Africa, part-time throughout the past few years. And I've spent nearly $50,000 on mentors, coaches, courses, and education, learning from the best of the best in business, fitness, mindset, racing, and so on. Now I'm sharing what I've learned and growing my community, the Champion Protocol, linked in the description below. By the way, if you're a motocross racer and you want to apply to work and train with me one-on-one online, the link to that is in the description below, so feel free to check that out. But with that being said, basically there are 3 things on the most basic, easy to understand level. There's 3 things that impact your decision making and what you do and the actions that you take every day and in every moment of every day. And that is your thoughts, your emotions, and the environment. Now, I'm not going to touch on thoughts and emotions in this video. What I'm talking about is environment. And what I see a lot and what I used to do as well, so I also used to make this mistake also, but I've learned from it, and now I'm experiencing other people who have done it, including my little brother, and just numerous people, most people, to be honest. And what that is falling into the bracket that is your environment and basically just kind of fitting in with your environment, even if you don't think that you are. And basically what I'm talking about overall is say that you're living at a training facility, or you're just riding with the same group of people and training with the same group of people all the time and everything. If you are simply doing what they're doing and you are kind of just setting your standards in terms of your work ethic and the inputs that you're doing in terms of the work you're doing, how much you're riding, how much you're training in the gym, whatever else, if you're kind of setting your standards of okay, this is how much I'm going to do and how much I need to work, and you're setting the standard at the same level as them, you're going to get the same results as them and you're going to be in the same position as them. So if they are not already the best in the world and you're not training with the best in the world, for example, if you're a motocross racer and you're not living at the dog pound training with Jet and Hunter Lawrence and Chance Hymas and those guys, unless if you're there, if you're anywhere else that's kind of just with the average bracket of riders, actually I'm going to do it this way. This is the top guys, Jet and all of them. And then here's the average main people and everything who are racing nationals, Loretta's, whatever else. And then here's the lowest bracket of, just your everyday, as we call it, I guess, weekend warriors. So, yeah, if you're not training up here with these guys and you're here, then something so important to understand is that if you want to get to this level, you almost need to look like an alien to these guys. Because I guarantee, and I know from experience with just who I've learned from and who I've experienced just with motocross and everything, but also specifically on the business side, I really connect the dots with all the experiences I've had in my life, and that's how I come to these conclusions and what I share and everything, is that I've connected the dots of what I've learned from this, and I connected it with this and everything. And what I'm referring to is that I learned this lesson in business, because what I learned over the past 5 years of running my business and just kind of being in that space is that the top guys and everything are putting in 50 times the work than these guys are. So when you actually see what this level of person is doing in any area, whether it's business, motocross, any sport, or whatever else, when this average person looks at this level dude who is in the work they're putting in, this guy almost looks like a freaking alien. These guys almost can't even fathom doing what it is that they're doing. So if you're kind of just fitting in, doing what these guys are doing, and you're making it, and you're saying things such as oh, I don't need to train today because they're not training today, or oh no, we don't usually train on Mondays, or oh no, blah, 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 then you're just fitting in here and you're never going to get to this level, because you're just doing what these guys are doing and you are fitting into your environment. At the end of the day, the Kobe Bryants, Michael Jordans, Jet Lawrences, Ryan Dungeys, Jeremy McGraths, Ricky Carmichaels, they didn't fit in at all. The people around them, even their closest circle, their closest friends, or people they went and rode with at the track or went to the gym with, they most likely could not understand how those people operated. And in terms of like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and those guys, like I know this from reading the books Relentless and Winning, which were written by Tim Grover. And he was literally like the behind the scenes personal trainer for Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, all these guys. And what Tim Grover explained in the books is like basically what they did and how they approached life overall, training, everything, in order to be the best of the best, in the mentality that they had towards it. And one thing that like it talked about a little bit is how when Jordan or Kobe or any of these guys showed up to the court for practice or the game or whatever, they had the mentality of like they had their team and everything, but they were like, either you're gonna level up to reach my level, but I am not going to bring myself down to be at your level to make you feel better, period. Like if you feel like crap because you're down here and I'm up here, well, that freaking sucks, because you're either going to elevate to be where I'm at or get lost. Like basically that's the mentality they had. And I know that in one part of the book it talks about how like Michael Jordan at the beginning of the season or something, he told his team members, he was like, I'll pass you the ball one time, and either you're going to do something with it and make something happen, and then we'll work together and I'll pass to you more. But if you fumble it and you mess up or whatever, then that's it. You get one pass, period. That was Michael's, that was his mentality. And that sounds ruthless and that sounds relentless, but that's what it takes in order to win. That's what it takes in order to be the best. If you just want to fit in with these guys, that's totally fine. But this video is for those who really, really want to be the best. And it's key to understand that if you really are fitting in with your environment right now, and you're kind of like doing the same as everybody else, and you're kind of doing the same program as everybody else, and you're saying things like, oh, well, they didn't do gym today, so I don't need to either, or they didn't run this morning, so I don't need to either, or they only rode this much today, so I don't need to ride any more than that, then you are never going to reach this level, period. Like it's just a fact. Like you have to, in order to be the best, you have to do more than the rest. And if you're already doing kind of the max amount that you can do, because it's specifically in like sports and stuff, like obviously you need time to rest and recover and all those sorts of things. So if you're already like putting in the max amount possible, which is pretty doubtful, because like the amount that you actually can put in is probably way more than you can even imagine. But if you're already hypothetically doing that, then it comes down to getting more out of what you're doing. And that really just comes down to your mentality towards it and going into it with like no excuses and no like days where you just feel off or whatever. It's like, I'm going to get the most out of every single second that I am training, whether it's in the gym, on the bike, whatever else, doesn't matter. But anyway, the biggest thing and the main thing that I wanted to just touch on in this video is just really opening up your eyes and seeing your environment and who you're around. And if you look at who you're around and you don't want to be in the spot that they're in, then you need to do either something different than what they're doing, or you need to do way more than what they're doing. So don't just like fall into the current environment that you're in and then just kind of get comfortable and just kind of do what everybody else does and think that that's enough, because it's not. It's enough to be where they're at, and it's enough to be where you're at now. But if you want to reach that like ultra elite level, then it's going to take a hell of a lot more. And to be honest, like the best way that I like to view it, which I kind of mentioned before, it's like if you're at a training facility, for example, and like there's obviously a bunch of other riders and racers there, and you're kind of doing everything that they're doing, but then you're doing like that extra bit and you're doing more. Like I'd want to be the guy who's at the training facility and everybody else almost hates me because they are like, this guy won't fucking stop. Like I would want the other guys to come up to me and be like, dude, you need to chill. Like you need to like bring it down a notch. Like you're working too hard. Like you're doing too much. Like whatever else. Because if they were to come to me and say that, then I'd be like, perfect. That's a good sign. Like period. Like I want to literally I want to be the outlier. Like you have to be the outlier in the environment that you're in order to reach that next level. So yeah. But anyway, hopefully that was helpful, but just like really think about it and really look at your environment and see who it is that you're actually around and if you want to be where they're at. Because if you don't, especially if it's people like who are a few years ahead of you And like if they're a few years ahead of you and you're doing the same amount as them, then look at where they're at right now and be like, say they're like 4 years ahead of you or whatever, be like, do I want to be where they're at in 4 years? And if the answer is no, then don't do what they're doing. Or if it's the right thing to do, whatever it is they're doing, you just need to do a lot more. Like, period. Like, if you just do the same amount as them, you're just going to end up where they are in 4 years. So just something to keep in mind. But anyway, if that was helpful, which hopefully it was, then feel free to subscribe. Like I said before, if you want to apply to work with me and train with me one-on-one online, the link to that is in the description below this video. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.